And welcome back to Holden's Golden Age Wargaming. And it's been 2 weeks, so that means we're releasing a new mod. And this one is CA, Tactical Naval Warfare in the Pacific 1941 to 1945. This is the mod as I made it at first. However, looking at the counters here, for USN, where it was a strategic game, looking at the entire Pacific theater, I was fine with counters that said BB1C or whatever for a battleship. But this game here, CA, is a tactical game, and this just it didn't do it for me. So I said, you know what, I'm going to, and I've been putting this off for a long time, trying not to do it. I said, I'm going to make my own counters. I'm going to make my own counters for when I play this game. I'll have a lot of fun with it. So I actually went on the internet and found the pictures of all the ships, basically right here. It basically tells me what class for BB1 and BB5, what class of ship they are. So I went on and was able to find top-down pictures, and yeah. So now, when I fight my battles, I'll get to see my ships, right? The other thing I did for this is, even through after I found all these top-down pictures, most of the game they're covered up by counters. So what I did was I took these markers, like the speed and facing, and I made it so they fit on the counter, but you can still see your stats. You can still see your stats. And I also made all the markers where applicable, so they had states. So, for example, the speed pace markers have state 1 to 7. So, if I hover over this and I click 2 on my keyboard, or 3, or 4, or 5, or 6, or 7, it will automatically change to what I want. So, I don't have to keep pulling new counters. The spotted marker, of course, doesn't have that. The power hit marker, I believe, has 2 states. Yeah, state 1 to 2. So for the first one, you take 1 power hit, and then if I hit 2 on my keyboard, I change it to 2 power. And then weapon hits, 2 states for 1 weapon hit, and hit 2 on the keyboard, 2 weapon hits. And then what else do we have? We have a power weapon hit. And so basically that, if I explode the stack, you see all your counters. Obviously, you wouldn't have this. I think looking at the rules, you can only take, a ship can only take 3 hits and then it's destroyed. But say, you know, I want that on top. So let's repack. There we go. I know exactly what I'm doing. And yeah, I also have markers. I wasn't going to add them, but there will be a lot of ships in this. So it's not like Spitfire or Flying Circus where you only have like 3 or 4 units on the side. And this mod starts off basically now. I'm not looking at these as just games. I'm looking at this as a way of preserving the history of these games, of the game design. So I have here the article on CA from the issue of Strategy and Tactics that it came in. So you'll be able to read that. I'll be able to read that when I play the game and get a background information. Over here I have a pile of stuff. I have Phoenix magazine. That was a British wargaming magazine. There's an extra scenario. I also have the errata here. And of course the rule book. I always have the rule book. And that's one scenario. And then from issue 11 there's another scenario. And then, of course, from Moves magazine, which was also done by SPI. So Strategy and Tactics was kind of all their articles on history, on warfare, and then, of course, a game inside of it. And then Moves was kind of like the industry magazine where they do like strategy and tactical articles and talk about the state of the industry. So this is the profile, I believe, Moves 11. There's adding historical simulation, so all that. I have them all there, and then way down the line in moves 30, here's refitting CA where he makes some modifications, basically improving the game after years of play test feedback, player feedback, I guess I should say. And I think that's it. I also have a compass here, so you know what's going on. The only thing is that I'm not completely happy with is the map itself. I can't get it to have a grid lock with Tabletop Simulator, so you actually have to manually, just like in real life, move your units from hex to hex and fit them in there. If we go to the grid, we can see it actually is really good. It lines up pretty good, but over here, obviously the scan of the map is warped. It is pretty close, but your ships will be quite a bit off on these hexes over here. So I elected to keep the grid snapping off. You can turn it on, but as I said, it will be a little bit off. It'd be nice to have a better unwarped version of the map. I would immediately update this. I did find an updated map on Board Game Geek, but it just didn't translate well to Tabletop Simulator. So I stuck with the original. But if anyone ever comes up with a scan of the original map that isn't warped, like as you can see when I take the grid off here, you can see this is probably right here what causes that warp, which makes it so the grid lines don't quite line up. But anyways, other than that, looking at the ships, I mean, it gives it a lot more flavor. I did fix, I think in the errata, I noticed one of the Japanese ships, I believe it is CA1C. Yeah, they made a mistake and only put a 4 there, but of course it's supposed to have a 14, so I already fixed that. Don't need to worry about it. I didn't stay that true to the original. Going forward, I will be trying to have any extra magazine articles from the time that I can find, the time being 70s, early 80s. I will include so that you don't just get the game. You should be able to, I'll try to include all the extra, or I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but all the extras that were published by different publications. I don't have access to all the magazines from the era. I wish I did, but I do have Moves, and I do have Phoenix, and I do have Strategy and Tactics. So I will be adding those to the mods going forward, and then as I play the older mods I made, I will add them and update those mods as well. Anyways, that's all I have for tonight. Until next time, take care, guys.